Church of Latter-day Saints. What's the full name? The Church of Christ
Latter-day Saints.
Saints.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's just, yes.
I know it's a very long, obnoxious title. Like, come on, guys. You don't get, like,
Wow.
better points in heaven for the longest, like, denomination name. That's what the world needs more of is guys on a podcast reacting to other people's podcasts. Nothing.
Yeah.
Because we're going to interview Dude Perfect on one of our episodes of the podcast.
That's right. Tomorrow.
And they'll tell the story about how this isn't the first time that I've put you on camera.
That's such a weird way to say that. No, well, Mormon influencers. I think that's the term I used.
Yeah, it is the term you used. I looked it up. Nobody uses that term. I thought that was a thing. Nobody.
Look at what goes on at Bethel, right? You have gold dust that comes down from the ceiling.
That's
feathers,
the Holy Spirit. Philistine.
But then,
did I hear you guys say that the Bible isn't authoritative? It can't be trusted? And we were like, no. Like we never.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to the Critical Levitical podcast. We're here with an episode.
Confidence really waned.
An episode.
I thought about the number, but we're far enough in that I don't remember the number, and it's fine.
15.
That's
16.
not true. Can't be true.
18.
We're going to talk about.
18. It is 18.
The LDS Church.
Ooh.
Which is not a college football team, although they do have a college football team. I guess the church itself doesn't have a college football team.
I mean, if I didn't go there,
those people,
and I was LDS, I'd claim it too. So
how'd they do this week?
I don't know. Did they play? Surely they played. Probably
they played.
Probably like Nevada State
69
Girls
to 0
Penitentiary or something
against Portland State.
Hey,
yep, they did all right.
Wow.
Good job, guys.
Good.
Anyway, we're going to talk about them. I don't know what exactly we're going to talk about yet. We don't have a clip to react to. At some point, we should probably get back into doing like reactions and stuff. That's what the world needs more of is guys on a podcast reacting to other people's podcasts. Nothing.
Yeah. I was because that's
Anyway, hey, thanks for joining us on the Critical Levitical podcast.
The Critical Levitical podcast.
So, last episode we talked about the Pirate Bible, which
we did.
If I was a good podcaster, I'd have it ready, but I'm not. So,
the Pirate Bible right
here,
hey, we talked about this thing. How cool is that? But that's not who we are. And it's the Pirate Bible's secret ties to the Church of the Latter-day Saints. The church. What's the full name? The Church of Christ.
Latter-day Saints, isn't it? Yeah, it's just yes.
I know it's a very long, obnoxious title. Like, come on, guys. You don't get like better points in heaven for the longest like denomination name. That's true.
It's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
I don't think they get points in heaven at all. But anyway.
Oh.
Let's dig into that in either the end of this episode or the beginning of next episode.
Yep.
So I kind of want to talk about that.
Sounds good.
That'll be fun. Yeah, so anyway, our Bible, if you haven't checked it out yet, I'm not going to promise that there's going to be a button there because
there'll be a link somewhere where you can find the episode.
Yeah. There will be a link somewhere on the internet where you can find that episode.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
If you really are fans, you'd go find it.
That's like a really fun treasure hunt. A treasure hunt. Pirate Bible. There we go.
Arr. It was meant to be.
Predestined, if you will. So anyway, spoiler alert, the Pirate Bible is secretly Mormon. But that got us to talking about, well,
who would ever guess? Anyway,
I know. It's one of my favorite, like, hey, did you know, like, random things? It's just so, if it's like not the Titanic, it's probably going to be that for me.
But I just want to add though to that, like, the way that story came about was just the best. Like, that made my year, honestly. So I'm sitting in an airport terminal on my way back from
I didn't know this.
Where was I? I was at a
like in Houston or something, or Austin.
Yeah, San Antonio. Was there with the other champion staff at a convention, and I get this call from Cameron, and he's like, or he tried to FaceTime me.
I FaceTime both of you, but Steven never answers when I call him.
No,
that's
I remember that. I remember because you were in
FaceTime.
the airport, but I was only on there for a little bit.
But that was the second time.
It was a follow-up, yeah.
Got it.
So I get the call from Cameron, and like, oh, this is weird. What's up? Because Cameron famously hates FaceTime. and he starts like explaining the story, and all of a sudden, like I have all of these guys like over my, like they recognize Cameron, so they're all like over my shoulder, like and so this whole crowd is hearing this story with me for the first time. It was just a really weird experience. I have a lot of weird airport experiences. That one tops.
Not random people who knew Cameron. People you were with who knew Cameron.
Yeah,
no, it was all
San
listeners of the
Antonio,
Critical Levitical
yeah,
podcast.
both of the listeners of the Critical
Yeah,
Levitical
they were like
podcast
happened to be
in
there at the same airport
Yes.
terminal. Man.
Cameron is famous. I don't know if you knew that or not. He got to film the Dude Perfect crew. That is my claim to fame, is that my best friend knows Dude Perfect.
Like you said, well, knows is pretty.
What's
they
the
would
lore?
not. I could sit across the table and eat an entire meal with them, and they'll be like, "Well, hey, I'm glad that I met you for the first time ever." So but I did
But
film a
that's
Dude
not true.
Perfect commercial once. Yeah,
A commercial?
Yeah,
Huh.
About 10 years ago, maybe. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, that's a story for another podcast. Preston, you'll love this. So we've got some good friends. Hold up, I do have a prop.
For anyone who thinks that this is like pre-planned or that we have any sort of organization going on, let this be a lesson to you.
There's
Yeah.
some. It just doesn't necessarily keep us accountable. That's what we'll say. Yeah.
We have notes for all of this that
Yeah,
we
I'm
don't
looking
look
at
at.
Notion right now.
I will say the last 2 episodes have been probably the least like fettered out of all of them. Normally we're a little more. Anyway, we have some good friends who put out a book called Mixtape Theology. Their names are William Ashley Mofield and Rachel Cass. Preston, I found out her daughter, Rachel's daughter, who has a podcast. That's name of the podcast is.
That's
That would have been a
not
really cool
educational. That's not educational. Is the name of it?
There it is. Great name for a podcast.
I
I found out the other day that she interviewed the Ninjas or Butterflies people on her podcast before they were Ninjas or Butterflies.
Oh, I do vaguely remember seeing that. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Super cool.
She's awesome. Yeah. It's okay.
You know, Cool
Anyone
Carl?
listening? Yes. The t-shirt guy.
Do you know cool Carl, Steven?
This is
You-
all over
Oh,
my
you
head.
totally do. You totally do.
Youth
Long
group,
hair.
like meme kind of page things. Yeah, long hair, beard, always super awkward. He'll do like the verses out of context thing. His head's like floating around.
One of his like lines is, "Hey, you little chicken nuggets." That's like he does youth group stuff.
Got it. Okay.
Anyway.
Josh Hooper is his name.
Camp rules.
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy.
Yep. Anyway.
Okay.
Why are we talking
Crazy.
about this? Oh, because we're going to interview Dude
Yes.
Perfect on one of our episodes of the podcast.
That's right.
And
Tomorrow.
then I'll
Full
tell the
circle.
story about how this isn't the first time that I've put you on camera.
That's such a weird way to say
You knew
that.
what I meant.
True.
Yeah. So that has nothing to do with anything. But we are talking about influencers. So let's talk about some Mormon influencers, because when we were initially talking about the Pirate Bible, like forever ago, we were like, hey, we should do an episode. Since like this segues straight into the LDS Church, let's do a podcast on Mormon influencers. And I said, I have no idea what that means. And you guys acted like you knew a lot about it. So take it away. You do
Now
you.
the shoe is dropped. Turns out
More-
we know nothing.
No, well, Mormon influencers. I think that's the term I used.
Yeah, it is the term
There's,
you used. I looked it up. Nobody uses that term. I thought that was a thing. Nobody.
Not a
Like
thing.
I.
Stephen of the Critical Levitical podcast.
You heard it here
does.
first. We did it.
I definitely, though, didn't coin it. I'll say that.
Just claim it, man. You had the chance.
Yeah, but I think... All right, fine. I coined it. Definitely.
You are.
I would just
so
say
hot
there's
right
something about Mormon culture is just entering into a different space than it's ever been before. Does that make sense?
now. Yeah. So.
Keep going. No, I want to hear your... Yeah.
Okay.
You.
Thank you for the permission.
welcome.
We do prepare. I read an article this morning to prepare for this episode, and it was a fascinating look at that. And basically, one of the top Mormon influencer pages anonymously came out and said that yes, the LDS Church encourages us to do so. Apparently, within
That makes sense.
the LDS Church for a while now, it's been like a thing that the church has been like, hey, young girls, since your entire job is like child rearing and looking pretty,
Bye, Preston.
bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
Cannon.
Bye. Anyway.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's like since for the Mormon church or the LDS church, girls it's like, hey, your entire job is child rearing and looking pretty. So from a young age, hey, what the heck happened?
I heard a dog
my
bark.
mother-in-law came over.
Oh.
What is happening, man?
Anyway, yeah, so they're like, hey, from a young age, you're going to learn to scrapbook, and your entire like free time is going to be taken up with scrapbooking and like lodging memories for posterity, right? And so what happened when social media came around? It's like, hey, you can do this, but it's like all right here, ready to go, and you just put it up.
Point.
And so that they want to make the LDS church look really, really good.
That's thing.
Really been a large push behind the whole like resurgence of the trad, like hashtag tradwife, like,
tradwife, yeah,
whatever. Like LDS church is behind a lot of that. Apparently, like a significant majority of influencers on social media right now are, if they're not like already movie star celebrities, there's like a 90% chance they're going to be members of the LDS church.
That's wild.
There's also a very certain look because of like who the LDS church looks for. And since they like, in essence, their value as human beings is pent up in how beautiful you are, it's like perfect fodder. It's a perfect storm for, yes, this is why they're all influencers, which is fascinating. Obviously, that article was like a little bit like jabby towards the LDS church and religion, which, you know, they kind of had it coming. But yeah, so you're dead on. Like there's like this subculture within LDS. I also learned recently, and by recently I mean like 2 hours ago,
that's recent.
That is true. Yeah, it goes back to the history thing from last episode. There's like hundreds of different like sub-denominations or sects of the LDS church.
Fascinating. I guess I would get that makes sense, but no idea.
Yeah, which is why the formal Church of Christ of Latter-day Saints is trying to say, no, we're the LDS church. We're not Mormons. We're not Church of Christ. We're not whatever. We are the LDS church from Utah, Salt Lake City, whole situation. Because there's a lot of things that they mainline like stand against that are a lot of things, unfortunately, that Mormons are known for. And they're like, that's not us. So polygamy, like racism, all, you know, all kinds of stuff.
Storied past.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like when I say Mormon influencers, there's like, I mean, we just talked about it before, but like the whole show, The Secret Life of Mormon Wives, which is like just trash. It's trash TV, and like it's marketed as trash TV.
Yeah.
But like, I think from a television show making perspective, that show wouldn't exist unless our culture viewed Mormons and the LDS movement as somewhat interesting. And I think, again, it's kind of off the back of like again, shows don't get made if they don't think people are going to watch them. And so like, you don't make a show about Mormons unless you think people are going to watch it. But I think the thing about that is like people have this idea of what the LDS church is, what all Mormons are, and they break that mold. And so that's what makes it fascinating.
Yeah,
but there's just a different... Oh, it's not. Yeah. They're
it's
not
like
good
pretty
people.
Licentious on the show. Yeah.
But like, there's just in our culture, there's just a it seems new fascination with like LDS and like that the tradwife movement is picking up steam. Things like that are picking up steam. I mean, you know, cultural pendulums, they swing, like they go back and forth and back and forth. And so I think for whatever reason, they're just catching the movement on the way like back this direction where more traditional and conservative values are mainstream to some degree now. Like you have like Christian apologists on comedians podcasts now, which like never would have been a thing like 10 years ago. Like I think it's in this weird cultural sphere where people are just kind of interested. And so you have a lot of people who are taking advantage of it from the LDS church naturally, if you believe in what you do, you should, you know? So it's like, yeah. And especially like on TikTok, there's a lot. I even see on Facebook Marketplace, people will list Bibles for free. It's like an LDS person, they'll list Bibles for free, but you have to have a conversation with them or something. Like that's the whole thing, which like, first of all, no one's going to do that, but maybe it's worked. Like, hey, I don't know. That's what I thought.
It's working. I don't know.
Yeah. So there's just like, you know, they're doing a lot. They're
this is interesting. I was reading about, gosh, I have no idea how I got here, but people have like this innate need to belong to something. A guy put out an ad in the classifieds that just said, like, join me, and listed his address. That's it. And so he created this kind of society. It's true. Look it up. It's called, gosh, I can't remember the name of the society. I can't find. So there's this guy that started this society. Supposedly. I don't know. That like they do good works on Friday. And it's called like the Good Friday like movement or whatever. And it's not like really faith-based or anything like that, but he built a whole community, and there's like these forums and like all these groups and everything like that you can join, and it's like you go like pay for the person's coffee behind you, or you go help an old lady across the street, or like little things like that.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. But it all started when he just put like join me, and then people started coming. He's like, people are here. Like people were looking for something to belong to, and it was as simple as one guy putting a thing in the classified. And there's like 18 million like people around the world now that are a part of this like society. They just have to make an agreement, like, hey, every Friday we're going to be a good person. They'll do meetings and stuff and whatever. But yeah,
only on Fridays.
I'm going to keep trying to look and figure it out. But that's so the sense of belonging thing is what triggered me.
Yeah.
With that.
No, I get that. I just think, I mean, I guess if you're going to pick a day, Friday's a good day to be nice.
Sure. I think to kind of marry those ideas together, a little bit of what Joseph Smith there said, and what Brigham Young said.
I don't know that anybody's going to see those tags, bro.
Oh, that's right. We talked about that. Okay, sorry. So what Stephen said and what Cameron said, the Mormon influencer thing, right? Like, I think you kind of alluded to it, Stephen, where it's like you have this faith that like is typically very, or traditionally very conservative, very, save for a few major doctrinal points, like is pretty well in line with like mainline Protestantism in terms of like the conservative like behavior and stuff.
Right. Behavior. Yes.
But then you have like culture currently, for the most part, like looks on like conservative Christianity and says, no, gross. But because we have media that like, so you have Mormonism that like has that same sort of cultural moray, but then you look at the media portrayal of it and it's like, oh, well, they still get to have fun. Like, look at how the Mormon housewives live. Like, this is pretty filthy sometimes. So I think it like romanticizes it in a way that like culture is like, want to know more about that.
Interesting. People think it's like a best of both worlds situation, or is that what you think?
Yeah. And then because of that like longing, that desire to be a part of something, like we have an innate, whether anyone wants to admit it or not, we have an innate desire in our heart to, and Cameron like said all this already, but like to be a part of something. And really what it is a draw to like biblical community, right? And so paired with that, like, and people taking that like emptiness inside of them and then looking at something and going, okay, so this is like that faith thing that I've heard about, but I like this version of it because this looks like fun. I can still do all the fun things. And like they put this like really attractive wrapper on it to boot. So I think that just like puts its own fuel on its own fire.
When you said attractive wrapper, Cameron, are you following me here? I wasn't thinking like a present rapper. I was thinking an actual song lyric rapper. And I'm like, that's an interesting to throw on there.
Eminem famously is
the most attractive of them all.
Yeah.
Man, Snoop Dogg's under fire right now, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, okay. What's that about? Because I saw this whole deal and I didn't go down the rabbit trail. I did not have time.
He said the quiet part out loud and people are losing their minds.
No, but was it about some trans thing or something?
Yeah, we're going to get canceled. But he took his like, nephew or grandson or something. I don't know. You know, like Snoop Dogg's like 800 years old. He took one of a child that he is related to go see.
That's an important clarification. He did not take the child.
Just to be clear, to see Lightyear on like in theaters.
That's
Disney,
what it was.
Like the whatever, and there's
the new whatever,
like the two moms, and he was like, "Hey, like why does this got to be everywhere, man? I was just trying to take my grandkids to a movie, and now they're asking questions I don't have a good answer for. Like I understand, like doing what you want and having a preference and a culture and whatever, but when it starts getting into kid stuff, that's a whole other thing." And people are like, well, Snoop Dogg is now the worst human that's ever existed.
Dude,
and
whatever.
So it's just a whole thing. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I saw something about it, but I didn't follow the whole rabbit trail. So, it just goes to show celebrities don't actually share their real opinions, or no one would be celebrity. Because, do you see what I'm saying? Because
I've thought that a bunch, man.
Yep, they are playing the part, and that's so many of them. Not all of them, but
Yep.
Anyway.
I've thought that so much. Like when you look at all the people who are out there, like, hey, liberalism is the cure for XYZ, and I'm like, ain't no way you're voting to give up, to be taxed at 60% or whatever. There is
all these
no
rich
way.
people. Yeah.
Right.
Nah, man, I watched this video on
every
Jubilee.
single one of you voted for Trump. You shut your mouth. I know it's true. You know it's true. Just
on Jubilee, they had a billionaire come in, and it was anonymous questions. So they had a panel of regular people or whatever. I don't know how they identified them, but just normal people. And then he was sitting facing the crew, so he couldn't see all the people asking him questions. It was the most posturing, performative answers I've ever heard in my life, because all of them hate that guy just because he's a billionaire or whatever. And he knows that. And so it's he just answers what they want to hear. And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, but I don't believe you. That's just what I was thinking the whole time. It was a ridiculous video. But anyway, same kind of thing. Turns out people put on a facade in many ways. You know who doesn't, though? Hang on a second. And I think, no. Do you like this transition? So I think what attracts people about the LDS movement is that there's no facade. Okay. Okay, hear me out.
Say more words.
They're not trying to. They understand their past. They understand how the culture views the past, like polygamy and racism and all of the things. But they are unapologetically conservative, and they don't they don't posture to the culture, if that makes sense. I think that's there are certainly people just look at that show, The Secret Lives of Mormon. That's posturing to the culture to me. But I don't even there's no way those ladies are actually Mormons. I'm sorry, they're not practicing people. They barely go to church. So it's
especially with how strict Mormonism is. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, but you have somebody who comes by your door, Mormons who come by your door. You know who they are. You know what they're there for. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know what you're gonna get. I think that's what the thing is with the LDS. That's what I mean. Anyway, I don't know if that makes sense, but
no, it totally does. It totally does. And I think you're dead on. I think it's interesting that we are seeing parts of our culture drawn to that in a way that's not just I respect that and that's admirable, but I want to be a part of that. That's interesting to me. Because again, especially you look at the LDS church, that's one of the things that article talked about. Hey, why are Mormon people so much prettier? It's well, their rules say they can't drink, have caffeine, do all of the things that age you. So of course they're taking care of themselves and they're being pretty.
Yeah.
And
no, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Also, again, it just like what we talked about before, people want to belong to something that feels bigger than themselves, and I think sometimes that's what's attractive to people there.
Yeah, interesting.
And they're like, well, they clearly care about what they do, or they wouldn't be doing it. So, yeah, I don't know. And I think another thing is the culture views it less as a cult now. When that's exclusive of what people used to call it. Is
yeah, sure,
it's a cult.
Of course, they did with Christianity in the first 200 years, also.
Right.
Yeah. Not strictly.
You got super
true,
quiet
though.
again.
I don't know what's happening.
Hey, now you're loud again.
Better, yeah.
That's what Magic Mike's for.
Yeah,
Magic Mike.
That's a movie.
That's not.
We're not talking about that. They're not Mormon either.
I can't believe I agreed with you there. Anyway,
I do get compared to Channing Tatum often.
That's what I usually. Yeah, when I answer your FaceTime calls in the airport, I go Channing. Oh, Cameron.
Sorry, the picture is just identical.
Anyway. I've got an article pulled up here, just talking a little bit about it, and a recent Pew study finds that Mormonism is ranked dead last among other religious groups in terms of public or popular approval.
Interesting. So what the heck are we talking about?
Hold on, I have an idea.
It's got to be changed.
15% of Americans hold a very or somewhat favorable view of Mormonism. And I don't know how the rankings work, but they say it has a -10 favorability rating, which places it below atheism and Muslim faith.
I believe that still. And again, I don't think a part of I don't think all of the fascination is like, this is cool. I think some of the fascination is like, whoa, that's different than my culture, and I want to see. And now it's broadcast.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
That's what I was. That's where I was headed. Is like, I think part of this too, like part of what fuels this is just a like outsider view of like, well, that's weird. I want to know more about, like, there's a morbid curiosity about it, right? Not morbid's wrong, but there's a curiosity about it, like we do with any, like, I mean, think of how many like cult documentaries are on Hulu and Netflix. Well, like, we're just fascinated by them because they're so strange. And I'm not specifically calling LDS a cult, but there are elements of it, like the theology and stuff is just
Certain
odd
branches,
enough
for sure.
that people look at that and and like some of the more hyper conservative branches of it like definitely get into that territory, but like some of the doctrinal points are like just strange enough, like Joseph Smith discovered the Bible in Springfield or something like that. Like, there's weird stuff with it that makes people go, huh, well, I would really like to know more about that. So then when you get there and then you like somehow find your way through the halls of Mormon content and land on like Tradwife and mommy blogger and stuff like that, like, it's easy to then like make those connect where it's like, oh, well, this isn't as bad as I thought it was, and like just really start leaning into that.
Yeah. Again, like our cult, like we are in a very postmodern culture. We talk about it all the time, but postmodern, post-religious to the point where it's like, whoa, it's almost alien to some people. Like, whoa, people still do that kind of thing. Like, so whenever, Mormons are active on social media, they're going to get attention, both good and bad. So like, that's kind of, I think, a part of that, where it's like, this is not the verbiage that I agree with, but this is maybe what some people are thinking, where it's like a zoo. Like, online is just like, you can see people so different than you, living a life so different than yours. It's fascinating. And like, that's what makes it watchable. So again, that's like all online content. You can say that about pretty much anything. Like, that's why people consume social media, is because things are fascinating.
I've been seeing a lot lately too with
things are fascinating, Stephen Brown.
Put that on a t-shirt.
That's right.
I've been seeing that a lot lately too with the Amish community.
Because
TV
shows about them, all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
So obviously my content feed has a lot of roofing related stuff. There's a lot of up, especially like in the Northeast area of the country, there's a lot of Amish roofing companies. And so they
probably pretty efficient.
Incredibly. Yeah. It's like 15 white guys with like 4-handle shovels that are just going to town. It's insane. Literally, they will take I don't know if you've ever seen them, but like most roofers will use pitchforks. They
like that wouldn't be effective at getting shingles on the roof.
Super effective. It's actually the best tool.
A pitchfork.
For what? What did I miss when I walked away for a second? We're talking about Mormons, and all of a sudden he's like, "You've got pitchforks, and there's 4 guys with shovels." Like,
stick with me.
What?
We're talking about Amish content.
I thought we were doing Mennonite. Anyway, okay.
That'll be next. Yeah. Anyway, so they make a tool for removal that has like these teeth on it, so it can also grab the nails and stuff instead of the big wide spikes. These guys will take like 4 of those and weld them together, and they'll just use the 2 handles on the end, and they're stripping off like 3-4 feet wide sections of roof all at the same time. And there'll be like 5 or 6 guys all doing, I mean, they'll have an entire roof done in 4 hours. It is insane. And yeah, so they're like, that is becoming far like more popular in the content sphere as well.
Yeah, Cameron, I think you said it last episode. People are interested in authenticity. And like, you certainly haven't got authenticity from like a lot of Mormon history, LDS history. But like, I think
plates were authentic. If only they weren't destroyed.
Sorry, right. Darn. You know what I mean? But like, now I think people, like, again, the people who are active Mormons, like actual, like practicing Mormons, there's really not a facade that they're trying to hide behind for the culture. And so it's like, I don't know, people are interested in that kind of thing.
Let me use this point to issue a challenge to our listeners then. If this is a good spot for that.
I have no idea what you're about to say. So sure, it's a great spot for anything.
Good.
Preston's exhortation.
Well, before you want to go into like the deeper stuff. Anyway, like talking about authenticity, we mentioned it last episode, like how important that is becoming in our culture today. What we see, Stephen and I, in our church, in terms of like who has been not attracted. It's not with it, but like who has been coming as like people who are not connected to our church in any other way, like have been showing up and sticking around for that reason of saying like, oh, there's authenticity here. Like I'm learning scripture. I'm learning it without fluff, without filter. Like we're just coming, we're worshiping, we're learning. In a world where that is becoming increasingly less common in the like evangelical Christian arena, you have other faiths that we'll argue about here in a few minutes, like are not like are not well grounded, well centered in the gospel message, who are taking up that pursuit of authenticity. And so we are at dire risk of losing ground in the like evangelical church, like losing good opportunity to witness. Because look at like, I'm going to throw some shade, but like, look at what goes on at Bethel, right? You have gold dust that comes down from the ceiling. You have angel feathers.
That's the Holy Spirit.
That litter okay.
Philistine.
But then, like, you'll have guys like Justin Peters, who is like straight up issued, like he has said, hey, bring one of those feathers, like literally pick one up off, like at any point, bring it out. Let's go get it tested. And if it comes back of unknown origin, then I will give up my entire ministry. Like I will completely cease what I do, because that's how strongly I believe that the flock is being fleeced, right? That is
what's
what
funny
we're battling against.
Yeah, sure. What's funny is they could totally just do that, and then like they have the total scapegoat when it comes back, and it's like, oh, this came from a goose. So like, well, of course, God could make it look like whatever he wants it to make it look like. You know what I mean? Like, just do it and then say whatever you want to say, because that's what you're doing anyway.
Right,
yeah, for sure.
Like that's the problem. Like we don't need theatrics. Just be authentic. Like, is scripture not enough? Come on.
No, I don't
put that on a shirt. I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Just kidding.
Yeah. Hey, we should do some shirts. Hey, you know what we haven't done? Like, subscribe. How's that for a segue?
I love it.
We should do t-shirts. I sent you a bunch of them ideas, and you responded to 2 of them. Well, we can do sky's the
all
limit,
of them.
You know?
Yeah. We'll just do them in
we'll do drops. Medium. That's the cool thing that people do.
Give me a Comfort Color shirt, and I will wear whatever it has.
Who's gonna front for Comfort Colors?
Color is the worst.
That's not.
What are you talking about?
Why
Comfort Colors are amazing.
Better than the cheap like 50-cent Gildan like burlap
Those are awful
sack.
too. No, I want the Bella canvas, the lightweight.
You love your
real
Bella
thin
canvas.
Cotton.
Hey, not all of us have that roofing money. All right.
Anyway.
Okay. I finally flippin' found what I was looking for.
Oh, it does exist.
Yeah, I've not been paying attention to anything you people have said, which is why the pitchforks were very confusing. It is. I remembered that I read it in this book, Building a Discipleship Culture by Mike Breen.
Discipling Culture by Mike Breen?
Yeah. Not the NBA announcer.
Bang! Bang!
Sorry.
What if, though? That would be
that would be a heck of a tie-in. Anyway, yes, and he uses that as an illustration. It is called Join Me, because Danny DeVito posted in the classifieds, Join Me. I would 100%
hang on, y'all.
Go.
I have a funny story about Danny DeVito. He was the spokesman for
Did you film
Jimmy
a commercial for him too?
No, he was a spokesperson. Well, I don't know a spokesperson, but he was in some advertising material for Jimmy John's and
Jersey Mike's.
No, Jersey Mike's, and we're passing a poster on the highway, and Sabrina goes, "Is that Mike?" Like dead serious, and I was like, "That's Danny DeVito."
Okay, so
I didn't know Jersey Mike was in Twins.
Her assignment is to watch Sunny in Philadelphia now.
That's amazing.
No, she knows who he is. She just didn't. Yeah, it was pretty good. Anyway, okay.
Has she never seen Matilda? Come on, Sabrina.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm going to talk about it. I love Jersey Mike's. It's just so heckin' expensive for a flippin' sandwich.
Dude, all subs, man.
Yes, but that cherry pepper relish?
So you're still thinking of Jimmy John's.
No.
Cherry pepper relish.
That's Jimmy John's.
I don't know where that is.
Jersey. No. The cherry pepper relish is at Jersey Mike's.
I mean, maybe they have it. Jimmy John doesn't matter. Danny Wallace posted in the classifieds. It may have been 2003. I don't know. I went from the mid 18th century to 2003. It's somewhere in there. Posted in. It was before like social media, so whatever.
Sure.
Posted in. Where did it go? Oh yeah. And he took out a classified advertisement in Loot magazine saying, "Join me, send one passport-sized photograph to," and a bunch of people started doing it. He's like, I had no idea what. Like, I just wanted to see if people would, basically.
Fascinating.
And now it's this whole collective called Join Me, and they're known as the Karma Army. Which,
I've heard of this.
The Karma
Army? I've heard of
Yeah,
this.
that was a missed opportunity.
I know. They should have been the Karmi. But they do random acts of kindness every Friday, known as Good Friday.
See that as hashtag.
Yeah. And then they do like meetups. There's like little local chapters and they'll do stuff. But yeah, obviously not like, one popular quote is, "It's not a cult, it's a collective," which also sounds like something the LDS Church would say.
Or a cult would say.
That's true. Join me
Also,
for Kool-Aid.
I also love when groups are like trying so hard to be like, no, we're not connected to them. Like, we're not, I wouldn't say very anti-Christian, but it's like obvious from the language you've used and stuff that they're like, no, this is not a religious entity. But then they want to use things like Good Friday. It's like, come on,
get your karma, or like it goes back to Frank Turek's like stealing from God. Like,
yeah, they just
everybody is
stealing
everything. Yeah, from God for everything. It makes apologetics a little easier. The byline for his book, which is titled "Join Me," is the true story of a man who started a cult by accident.
Dang, that's actually a banger title, though.
Which could also be the subtitle for the Book of Mormon. So,
I think he did it on purpose, though, didn't he?
Yeah, I was like, hang on.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I wish I knew more firsthand about like Mormonism. I've read a lot of things like third or fourth hand
for a little bit.
For maybe even secondhand. I wish that I had more time to like personally do the research rather than just like, well, so and so said that so and so said that so and so said that this person said that this was true, and it's like, yeah, you're right, get them. Because there's so much in there with like when you get to like the plates and the 12 people that he had as like his compatriots, and all of them disowned him except for one, but then like they all died mysterious deaths or whatever, and the plates are missing, and it's like, I need to know more.
Yeah,
it's fascinating.
I gotta say, Stephen and I were at Panera some time ago with a couple other guys for a meeting.
So funny.
And like we're talking,
was this when you guys were like doing your D group up there in the mornings?
No. Way after that. So this was me and Steven, Justin, and Terry. So we were talking about some like worship things. It was, yeah.
It was.
We were talking about like some worship things, Sunday morning, flow and stuff like that. Anyway, so we're having this conversation, obviously throwing around like church words, right? Well, there's a couple of LDS missionaries sitting across from us, like across the aisle, and at some point they finished up, they stand up and they like come over to us and just kind of honestly interrupt us, to be truthful.
She goes, her question was, did I hear you guys say that the Bible isn't authoritative, it can't be trusted? And we were like, no. Like we never.
That's how I'm going to start my evangelism conversations. I'm just going to go to McDonald's and like, hey, how can I help you? It's like, did I hear you say that the Bible's not true?
It was
literally.
It was an experience for sure.
So good.
But I gotta say, I was really impressed by like Terry's interaction in that
He's
conversation.
the perfect person for that, though.
Oh my gosh, he's so good. Like he is such a studied person. Like he's so well read.
I was like, this poor girl, Terry's here. This is over.
It was incredible. So he's like, right, because she's used to knocking on doors and like
Right.
like
No
we
one
talked
knows
about in the last
anything.
episode where it's like somebody's like, oh, I'm Catholic, but that's really in name only, right? Terry's like, okay, so tell me about the fifth celestial kingdom, and then or whatever. I don't know what their things are, but like he's like hitting points that they're
He's
like,
ready.
we don't even like his apologetics of the Mormon faith was like more advanced than the missionaries
ready.
was. It was incredible to watch.
True.
They weren't ready.
But you
anyway.
know what? At least they tried. That's my thing.
That's true.
At least they were like, you know what?
And they were persistent about it too.
Yes,
like when they were stumped, they were like, I'm not sure,
I
but
don't know.
XYZ.
Yeah,
which is fine.
That's cool.
I mean, she did try to deflect a couple times, but they tried. Believers would never do that. Like, there's so many people out there, myself included, who would like, nah, too nerve-wracking, never know what they're going to say, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
So I respect
that. I had an interesting conversation this morning about in relation to that. One of our members was talking about just like she's been on this dive through like the study of the history of Christianity from way back till she's like up to the 11 or 1200s right now. And she's like, it's one thing that's really surprising is the Catholic Church didn't like start out bad. Like they were really just trying to solve actual problems. And it's like, kind of, yeah, like most of the stuff that we take for granted now is them like negatively inverting things that were solving legitimate problems thousands of years ago, right? Like, hey, we don't know how, like, we're supposed to do the Lord's Supper every time we meet. How do we do that with 300 people and it's the year 400? Like, we don't have we don't have industrial kitchens. So what do we do? Well, okay, we're probably just gonna have to do like a piece of a wafer and one sip of wine for everybody. And then now that became like this weird tradition, or take baptism, or take whatever. And she's like, one thing that I just like, that's a big problem is I just like, I understand how monks like started doing that because the world got so bad that they felt like they had to separate themselves from the world to truly find God. But then they're just so isolated and so apart from the world, which is just so the opposite of what God intends for us. And I was like, it was like one of those nerdy, like, well, actually moments where it's like, well, yes, in our current present day evangelical world, the chief end of man is to share the gospel. But understand on the like history of Christianity, that's relatively new. That's like within the last 300 years or so. For most of Christianity, we had missionaries that did that, and we would empower them, and churches would have missional efforts, and obviously the gospel spread, or we wouldn't be here today ranting on a podcast about Mormons. But people like understood that the chief end of man, the Winchester.
Westminster?
Thank you.
The Winchester Confession.
My brain just got completely like, from MASH. Anyway, the Westminster Greater Catechism, right? Question number 1 was the chief end of man, to glorify God and enjoy him forever. That has been, for most of Christian history, like the apex. And so the monastic order is the logical conclusion. Like, if you could, you would. Like, if you could figure out a way, that's where it's all going, if that's your ideology. So sometimes we'll read things back into history, and it's like, well, based on what I know and believe and my convictions in 2025, that's way wrong, and I can't understand how people thought that. It's like, well, put yourself back in their shoes and their understanding, and it's a little different. I don't know why. How did I get on that?
Well, we were talking about like just being bold. They were like willing.
Oh yeah,
to go
being
talk.
bold. Yeah. So they're sharing the gospel, which is awesome.
But the thing is, like early monks did a ton of work in their communities. Like, I think people forget that. There's tons of stories like, and so it's not that like when people say that they think monks is like completely isolated. There certainly were, but I would say for most of like monastic history, they were pretty involved like in the community.
Well, and often their isolation was in order to prepare them, right?
Yeah.
Like even going all the way back to the Desert Fathers in like 400 AD, like they would take time away and they'd spend 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 whatever in complete isolation pursuing the presence of God, and then come back and do work based on that.
Which, like, again, like the presence of God is not found like you don't have to be alone.
Well,
like,
sure,
whatever,
but without
Yeah.
distraction, right?
Sure, I get that. Yeah,
Because I could tell you,
Yeah,
as
anyway.
a parent of 3 kids, which
What do you mean?
Preston has 800 kids.
Yep. It's
we're
2
well
more than us,
aware.
but like it feels heavy.
It's so many
2 more than we do, but I promise it's more. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, do we want to dive into the theology of Mormonism now, or do we want to save that? I think we can go a lot of directions. I could spend 45 minutes just on that.
Yeah, it's probably a good second episode.
All right, so hey, like, subscribe, do the things that people say to do. Bell icon is things that people say. I don't know, drop a comment. What's your favorite episode of the Secret Lives of
Simpsons.
Mormons? Oh, yeah. What's your favorite episode of The Simpsons? Which Simpsons prophecy is your favorite?
Man, those
Just
are
comment, let us
crazy.
know.
Dude, that's insane.
Matt Groening there's something going on there.
Okay, I think we've talked about it before. Stephen, I have not evangelized Futurama 2 enough. So have you ever watched Futurama? Or are you at least familiar with it?
Yeah, I know what it is. Yeah.
Okay. So
We're not going to go all the way into that, are we? Are you going to go all the way?
No, hold on. So in one episode, Matt Groening, so he is a
Is that
PhD,
how you say his name?
Yeah. He's a PhD mathematician. Super smart guy. In one episode, they were talking about time travel, and they like ran into this like paradoxical issue in the storyline. The dude legitimately came up with a mathematical formula and like a mathematical proof for like whatever thing they were talking about. I don't remember all the details at this point, but like actually solved whatever issue they were talking about in the storyline, and then never says anything about it. It just appears like written out in chalk on a blackboard behind them in one of the scenes.
What?
Brilliant guy.
But he like established the proof. It had not been done before. And people watched it were like, oh my gosh, he fixed this problem.
That's hilarious. That is the way to do it.
Right.
Every mathematician needs to
Right.
be
And he's like,
showrunner
yes, he's illustrating now.
just for
same,
that purpose.
Same thing with what's the Randall Munroe, like absolutely brilliant human, draws webcomics.
Right.
Fascinating.
I am so here for it. Anyway, so next time we're going to talk about some of the theology of LDS, some of the practical side of LDS, maybe some things that we could learn from the LDS church.
I feel like you're pointing at me.
Say what?
I feel like you're pointing at me. You can pry my caffeine from my cold dead hands.
Oh, yeah, that too. As I'm drinking I already finished.
Hey,
a Celsius.
look, I had my Rockstar for the day. I'm having an Arnold Palmer.
That's full of more Rockstar, in fact.
Yep.
Tea and lemonade.
It's a facade.
Anyway, hey, thanks for tuning in. Tune in next time for more conversations about the LDS Church.
You missed the opportunity to say Mormonism.